Call the council meeting to order. Please be seated. Right, a motion to reconvene the open council meeting. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, opposed, and carried. And Councillor Kang, you're reading a proclamation for us.
Thank you, Worship. Proclamation today is Stop the Sexual Exploitation of Children and Youth Awareness Week. Whereas sexual exploitation of children and youth is abuse and has serious adverse impact on the victims, their families, and our community, and whereas it is a serious offense under the Criminal Code of Canada to buy or communicate to buy the sexual services of a person under the age of 18. And whereas Canada is a signatory to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of a Child, which mandates the protection of children and youth from all forms of sexual exploitation and sexual abuse. And whereas strategies must be developed, implemented, and sustained to prevent and end the sexual exploitation of children and youth in our community. Now, therefore, Derek R. Corrigan, Mayor of Burnaby, do hereby proclaim March 6 to 12, 2017 as Stop the Sexual Exploitation of Children and Youth Awareness Week in the City of Burnaby. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kang. And Vice Chair of the Burnaby School District, Belginda Narang, is here. And I'm going to bring down a frame copy of this proclamation. All right, moving on to correspondence. Motion to receive the correspondence. Oh, sorry, minutes. I didn't go through the minutes. Back up. Motion to adopt the minutes of the open council meeting held on February the 27th, 2017. Is there any discussion? Councillor Jordan? All those in favor, opposed, carried. Motion to adopt the minutes of the public hearing zoning held on February the 28th, 2017. And now, Councillor Jordan?
When I was reviewing the minutes, I was reminded there was a letter referenced in the minutes that was submitting for rezoning 13705 on Spurling Avenue. And there was a letter that came to the hearing. It had some matters not related to the land use, but about sort of health and safety of the building and things. And I just wonder if staff could follow up on those aspects of that letter. I forgot to do it at the public hearing.
Yeah, that's fine. What I'll do is ask for the question on the minutes, and then arising out of the minutes, you can make a motion to have staff deal with those issues.
Okay.
All those in favor, opposed, carried. And arising out of the minutes, Councillor Jordan, you wanted staff to investigate those areas under municipal jurisdiction and to follow up on any issues that are of relate to the provincial government. Yeah,
there was things like block fire exits and safety issues that really were a concern to me. And it's a letter that Ms. Petrol submitted to the public hearing. So there weren't issues that related to the land use discussion, but they were about the condition of the building.
Right, Mr. Pelche, you've got that then. Is the idea is that that letter came through, but they weren't necessarily land use issues, generally about the upkeep and the staffing, and then there was some issues that directly might affect the municipality and fire escape and those kind of issues. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
And did I get a seconder on that? All right. Ready for the question? All those in favor, opposed, and carried. Now we're on to correspondence. Motion to receive the correspondence?
Second?
All those in favor, opposed, and carried. This is a request from the Eagle Creek Streamkeeper Society to place lawn signs on city boulevards in order to publicize the Eagle Creek salmon release. Right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, opposed, and carried. All right, a motion to resolve into a committee of the whole to consider reports. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, opposed, and carried. The first report is, well, it's from me. And this is that council appoint Mr. Wayne Peppard as a citizen representative on the Board of Variance for a 3-year term.
Move the mayor's recommendation. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, opposed, and carried. And the next item is from the Planning and Development Committee, and it's Councillor Jordan as chair.
Thank you, Worship. Under our new terms of reference, which combine transportation and such matters in with our committee, this is our first report, and the recommendation is that Council authorize the expenditure of $12,155 from the boards, committees, and commissions budgets for programs that promote cycling and walking in 2017, as outlined in the report.
Moved and seconded. Councillor Calandino.
Thank you, Your Worship. I wonder if I can make an amendment to the recommendation that this report be sent to the Healthy Community Partnership Committee. And let me speak for somebody seconds, Councillor McDonnell. Councillor McDonnell and I are council reps at this Healthy Community Partnership with Fraser Health, and some of the topics that we discuss is how to keep the community healthier. And obviously, these are many of the things that the city already does to encourage citizens to live a healthier lifestyle. And I think it would be good information for them to see that we already do many things, and hopefully we can encourage maybe Fraser Health to also be more active in the encouragement of that and actually being active in promoting healthier lifestyle other than just the committee we're on.
All right. Ready for the question? All those in favor, opposed, carried. Moving then to the manager's report. Item 1. This is to review results of the request for expressions of interest process for the City Lands Program for non-market housing projects and provide recommendations for a revised Phase 3 selection. All right, Councillor McDonnell.
Your Worship, this is the first step in this process that we started with our city lands and that. And the short list came to us and we selected these 2 proponents. They now have to go through the qualifying for all the requirements that are going to be needed in order to fulfill it. But I feel fairly positive they'll meet everything we require. So I think it's a first good step in helping out on the social housing side of the city.
Thank you. Councillor Jordan.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. I would differ from Councillor McDonnell in that I don't think this is the first step. This is about step number, I don't know how many in the process, but let's say it's the next step in getting closer to actually building some non-market housing on city lands, which I think was a year and a half ago we made the initial proposal to start down this path. So I'm very pleased that last spring we put out the request for expressions of interest, really not knowing whether anyone would answer, whether there was a capacity in the community for not-for-profits to embark on something like this, some potentially on their own, even without any funds from other levels of government. So I was really pleased to see that we had 7 different proponents come forward with some very interesting proposals, and I think it was a tough choice for staff to recommend and for council to go through all of those and pick which ones for the 2 pieces of land right now that we will advance to the next stage, which will be firming up those proposals and seeing the developments and getting all the financials and things in place. So I'm very happy that, basically a year from the expression of interest, we probably will have something coming back to council that says, all right, we can start to have the shovels ready, and then we can start on the next project, because now we know there's certainly opportunities and capacity in our community to take on these projects, and it's a good time, but it still is reliant on some other levels of government bringing out their long-awaited funding for these things. So I every day I hope that the federal government will announce their massive investment in housing across the country, and every day it doesn't come yet, but
Well,
we remain hopeful.
I think it's important to note that they've announced that there's this money that's available, and we have produced 2 pieces of land with different potentials, 2 highly qualified potential operators for the projects, both of them experienced and have been in these markets before. So we're introducing all the capacity they could ask for. Is land that's been purchased using bonus density money taken out of our new development in Metrotown and Brentwood and other areas. And we've gone through a process to select a couple of proponents who we're saying we could work with. And now the question is, do they come to the table with enough to be able to help them succeed in the rest of the project? If they've got the land, potentially, then they should be in a position to be able to help them succeed in getting this non-market housing. And additionally, we also, through our density bonus fund, could provide additional funds to avoid any permitting or any additional fees that would be required from the city. I don't know how much farther we can go. The only difficulty I ever have is that this money often is in the newspapers, but it isn't actually in the hands of any of the bureaucrats who can deliver it. So I'm hopeful at this point that we actually see the money, because for these groups, it's absolutely crucial for them to be able to get the support to ensure that even though they're going to be able to build these on city land that will be leased to them, that they've got the money to be able to sustain them and to be able to operate them over the long term, which is really the purview of the provincial and federal governments. So we're looking for their commitment. And we're still a ways away from success, but
Intended.
I'm hopeful. Yeah, and if we can't reach a doable proposal with the 2 organizations here, Success and New Vista Society, I was very pleased that there were other agencies that had made applications who also could provide a viable project, and staff were content that there were several that could provide a viable project. And so as a result, if we aren't able to succeed with these 2 good organizations, there are other organizations who are standing in the wings.
An important thing to note, Your Worship, is the affordability factor is entirely dependent on how much financial support is received from the other levels of government. So as you said, we've got the lands, mortgage financing isn't hard to come by, so it's all about the level of contribution that they receive from other levels of government as to what the rents are and what the affordability factor will be. So that's just where it's at. It's pretty simple.
They've got land at nominal costs. They've got city fees taken away.
Yeah.
They get priority for development in our community. If, in fact, they initiate, they get priority over other developments coming forward. I don't know what more can be done to create the ideal circumstances for the provincial or federal government or both to come in and introduce affordability for this development, because certainly the actual capital cost is being made affordable to them. Now it's got to be sustainable in ensuring that the right people get to live in those units. Okay. You ready for the question? All those in favor, opposed, and carried. Item 6.2. And this is to obtain council approval to award a contract for the supply and delivery of artwork along the Wellington Linear Park. Questions called. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Item 3. This is to obtain council approval to award a contract for the Cambridge Lanes under the 2017 Combined Sewer Separation Program. Questions called. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Item 4. This is to obtain council approval to award a contract for the South and Central Burnaby Road Rehabilitation Program. Questions called. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Motion the committee rise and report. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Motion the report of the committee be adopted. All those in favor, opposed, and carried. Bylaws, Councillor Kang.
Thank you, Worship. For first reading, I move that bylaw number 13728, 13729, 13730, 13731 be now introduced and read a first time.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, opposed, and carried.
For first, second, and third reading, I move that bylaw number 13732 be now introduced and read 3 times.
Second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, opposed, carried.
For second reading, I move that bylaw number 13705, 13706, 13707, 13708, 13709, 13710, 13720, 13721 be now read a second time.
Second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councillor Jordan.
Your Worship, item 13709, the Bainbridge Liquor Store, it's my intention to oppose that bylaw. I wasn't convinced that it's a good idea to move that liquor store to that location.
All right, Councillor Johnson.
I am also opposed to the bylaw 13709.
Right. And I am also opposed to 13709. Councillor McDonnell.
13709.
All right, so that's 4 opposed. Are there any other oppositions to 13709? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? It carries.
Next. For consideration and third reading, I move that bylaw 13615 be now considered and read a third time.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, opposed, and carried.
For reconsider and final adoption, I move that bylaw number 13584, 13722, 13724, 13725, 13726, 13727 be now reconsidered and finally adopted, signed by the mayor and clerk, and the corporate seal affixed thereto.
Second motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, opposed, and carried. Is there any new business? Councillor Johnson.
I noticed in the Toronto Star this morning, and I don't normally read it, but I stumbled on it this morning, that the federal government is toying with the idea quite seriously of privatizing our airports. I don't know about the rest of the council, but I find this quite offensive. Right now we have a system where we have a public authority, essentially a local controlled cooperative model whereby this East Vancouver Airport works quite cooperatively with the communities around, and I would hate to see this sacrificed by a privatization to a large, possibly even offshore company. I would like to move that we write to the Prime Minister, Minister Marc Garneau, Minister of Transport, and Minister Morneau of Finance, and a copy to all 4 Burnaby MPs stating stating Burnaby's opposition to this proposal and encouraging them to reconsider.
Is there a seconder? Been seconded, all right. I want to join you, Councillor Johnson, is that I was appalled when I heard this discussion being initiated. It I think the federal government is running it up the flagpole to see who salutes. And I think some early opposition from municipalities like ours to indicate that we're very unhappy about that proposal may have an effect to cool some of their ardor. The temptation of being able to sell off an airport is that you get billions of dollars probably in revenues as a result of it once, and then you lose control of your airports forever. And that is not going to be a positive element for British Columbia or for any of the other provinces, in my view. I can tell you that right now the airport pays a significant lease fee to the Government of Canada. It operates, certainly at the Vancouver airport, operates one of the top-ranked airports anywhere in the world. It's recognized over and over again as being one of the best airports in the world. I can't imagine why, when the government is proving it can do something right, it immediately wants to sell it.
I don't
It
disagree.
makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Free luggage buggies.
So I think it's a very appropriate motion, and I'll be very pleased if it passes to write that letter on behalf of council.
One thing I omitted, Your Worship, it does even say in the article that the Vancouver Airport Authority itself doesn't see why the sale was necessary.
I've spoken to directors who were equally shocked that this was even being considered
Can
because
you copy the airport authority on
We
our
could,
letter?
that'd be a good
Yeah.
idea.
that's friendly.
Yeah.
All right, is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It passes. All right, and with that, is there any other new business? Motion to adjourn, seconder? All those in favor, opposed, and carried. Thank you very much.
I would have voted in favor of theirs if we had given a heads up, because I wasn't going to make that fast decision.
Nobody said anything last week.
Yeah. So what bylaw was that? Realization of?
The moving of the liquor store on Bay Ridge from across the street to the corner development.
Yeah.
Where the 7-Eleven store is. If I hold that, I guess somebody came to complain about it.